The blind R flash just shouted out of his mouth, when Muai suddenly woke up. All of a sudden, he sat up and looked at the ornately decorated room in front of him. Muai was obviously stunned for a moment. Where is this? Also, I wasn't kicking Mumu's fart with R flash just now. Before he finished speaking, suddenly, a new memory flooded into my mind. After a moment of brain swelling, Muai finally calmed down. No, I've crossed over. Here is a place similar to a parallel universe. But the difference is, the power system in this world is a bit out of the norm. In his memory, Muai saw a monster who turned into a giant bull head. Because greed is swallowed up by evil forces, human nature has been lost, and only pure destruction is left. Appeared in the city in a weird form, completely abandoned human beings. This is what Loli, the long dark green hair floating in the air, said in memory. It seems that when she talks about these weirdos, her tone is even colder. With memory fusion, the angelic face and Loli's figure are perfectly integrated, and a long dark green hair floats. And with the face in memory appeared, Muai was shocked. Tornado. This is a familiar and unfamiliar character in One Punch Man. Ah. This. Gudong. Muai immediately reacted. I actually traveled to the world of One Punch Man. The world of One Punch Man. World. FCK. How did you cross into this world? Now. All Muai could hear was his own thumping heartbeat. Because as a former standard otaku, things like Raimen can add color to life. Although not understood by all adults, this is the only place to find common ground, not just a large group. And what is depicted in each world is also eye-catching. Even exciting. Like One Punch Man, this comic is about a world that is not peaceful, for some special reason. In this world, countless people have mutated and become legendary monsters. Their torquey and terrifying characters endanger society. And because the dark side of the heart is stimulated, it has superhuman strength, which cannot be defeated by ordinary human firearms and weapons. So there is the profession of hero. Disasters occur frequently, but heroes are never absent. The battle is endless, and the hero never takes a step back. Each hero has special abilities to fight evil. Despite this, Muai couldn't guarantee that he would be very lucky, and suddenly a strange person suddenly appeared in the field of vision. Although I used to be the reader's eye, I liked all the settings of this world very much, but letting the main body pass through it is simply. You can send an annual Most Unlucky award, and you must bring 5 bars. Don't panic. Muai took a deep breath. Looking at the sunshine outside the window, life seems infinitely beautiful. The beauty of life is intertwined with you. Snapped. Don't panic. Explode in place. Wipe. Muai slapped the table, his palms hurt. Looking at the red claws, taking care of the weak strength, I am afraid that the strange person will directly rub it on the ground. Right, system. Muai suddenly thought of something. After all, in his memory before time travel, Muai also read books about time travel on a well-known novel website. After all, the system is blessed as a transmigrator, how could it be forgotten for a while? He shouted loudly in his heart, System. The system is coming out soon. Ding. I feel the extreme desire in the host's heart. The God-level sign in system is binding. Sure enough, the divine book of heaven, I know. The joy in his heart once again conquered the fear, and Muai was a little relieved. Sudden. Dang dang. There was a knock on the door. Master, breakfast is ready. Suddenly a voice came from outside. Good, seems like a habitual reply. Forget it, let's take one step at a time. The matter has come to this point, and it can only be settled as it comes. The brain swelled again, and the memory fusion was a bit fragmented, but it was also progressing slowly. After rearranging his clothes, Muai rubbed his head and pushed open the door. Similar to the aristocratic architectural style of the Middle Ages in Germany, the long red gold silk carpet looks either rich or expensive. Also, the murals hanging on the walls don't look so simple. Although there is a delicate apple on the mural, it does not prevent Muai's eyes from admiring the beauty. Walking through the corridor, the memory of the villa also melted a little. It seems to be a Dragon Rolls villa, and the decoration style is completely in accordance with the Dragon Rolls preferences. But why am I here? Muai's heart was melancholy. It seems that the most important memory has not yet been merged. Finally, the hall appeared before me. There are golden lamps hanging overhead, tables and chairs are neatly placed in front of them, and the long dining table is full of food. Hearing Muai's footsteps, the girl who was eating with her head down paused and said, Hurry up and eat. Today is a special day for parents, you need to go early. The girl's voice startled Muai. The voice finally completely overlapped with the voice in memory, and the image in front of him finally stayed on the angel's face.
Tornado. The second-ranked ceiling fighter of S-class heroes.
The trembling tornado. As the shock subsided, the most important memory was finally clear. Only then did he notice the tornado in the ring on his hand. I am married. My wife is a tornado, but it seems that tornado has not really recognized Muai's identity. The reason why two people get married is only because of the will of tornado's parents. The identity in this world is only the young son of a former hero and his niece. The two heroes died in the process of fighting against evil. This is one of the reasons why tornadoes are acceptable. However, during the month of marriage, except for the occasional breakfast, the two of them hadn't seen each other much during the rest of the time. Don't think about it, Muai knows. The appeal of this home is far less than that of the Hero Association. There are more or less things to be found in the tornado, although really small things. On the other hand, the previous Muai only operated a comic shop. Muai did not inherit a heroic physique, although both parents are heroes. But the chances of the offspring being ordinary people are also very high. And in this dangerous world, comic creation seems to be a luxury. There are only a few comics that have been sold sporadically, and over time, they have lost their motivation to create. Therefore, the annual income is not as high as the tornado's income in one day. The previous Muai was somewhat inferior. After all, Tornado is a rumored S-class hero. To put it bluntly, it is a dazzling existence standing on the top of the world.
I'm just a bleak creator. But now, it's different.
God-level sign in system. Binding, 80%. After taking a look at the system data, Muai was completely at ease. If you want to gain a foothold in this dangerous world, there is no absolute confidence. I am afraid that anyone will be defeated in the face of danger. Unless, everyone is like some bald cape. Of course, that's impossible. As for the special day the tornado speaks of, it was the birthday of the tornado parents. Once Tornado's parents were involved in a conspiracy, they were both persecuted by weirdos. This directly inspired the superpower of the tornado horror. However, the tornado also experienced a period of bleak years until it encountered the first hero of the S-class, Blast. Successfully rescued the tornado from the evil organization. For this reason, Tornado became interested in heroes. In front of you, the exquisite breakfast makes the index finger move. It seems that because of today's special day, Tsunere's always strong tornado is a little dull and silent when he eats. Muai peeked twice. No, it can't be considered a peek, after all, it's my own wife. Heart cannot help but sigh. The tornado's encounter was not good. The reason why it has such a strong power is after losing some important things. For this reason, Tornado developed an extremely girl-controlling character. Nehi Fushui didn't understand. Instead, she was always afraid of her sister. No matter how hard her sister didn't understand, Tsunere of Tornado wouldn't let her tell the whole story. Looking at the tornado in front of him, Muai suddenly said, "Eat slowly." As soon as the words came out, Muai was also stunned. But it's really my inner thoughts. Thinking of the strength of the tornado, Muai's little heart beat faster again. The tornado trembled all over. However, it was not as strong as usual, just a soft, He kept his head down and continued to eat. Seeing the performance of the tornado, Muai breathed a sigh of relief. Although the current favorability may not be high, but now that the system is in place, it is not bad to treat it as a game developed by a wife. There will be bananas, there will be milk too. My wife is right in front of you. With this kind of mood, Muai finally got some interest in this world. Picking up the unknown vegetables in the bowl, Muai stuffed it into his mouth. At this time, God-level sign in system binding completed. Just check in at a special location, get rewards. You can check in once a day. The number of check-ins can be superimposed. Check in. 1 to 2, a prompt appears. Muai also looked at the system panel. Clear words appeared on it. The check-in limit is 2, and there is currently 1 chance. Tornado Villa detected. Check in. The prompt appears again. There is no hesitation. Sign in. Muai replied immediately. Location. Tornado Villa. Signing in. Sign in is complete. Congratulations to the host. Sign in reward. Chaos magic. Muai blinked. Chaos magic. It was this thing. Etc. Chaos magic. This is not the ability of Wanda the Scarlet Witch in Marvel. In the records of Marvel Comics, chaos magic can directly modify reality, while in the movie universe, chaos magic is relatively weak, and even so, it has a wide range of powers. I just don't know what kind. Touching his chin, Muai was still a little satisfied. Is it fusion? A system prompt appears. No. Muai quickly refused. At this time, it is under the eyelids of the tornado. If it really wants to merge, if there is any special situation, then the tornado doesn't immediately come over. In this case, the wife's strategy, I am afraid that it will be affected by special factors. After 2 bites of breakfast, I left a sentence, I'm going to change clothes. Muai immediately slipped back to the room. Puff. Close the door. Muai leaned against the door. I'm afraid no one knows how excited Muai was at this time. Can you block everything around you if you merge? Looking at the system, Muai asked immediately. Can. The system answers. Muai's eyes lit up. Fusion. As Muai's voice fell, a mysterious power instantly enveloped the entire room. Suddenly, a scarlet-colored force entered Muai's body. Under the control of the system, this power seems to be innate, constantly strengthening every cell in Muai's body. This comfortable feeling. If he hadn't gritted his teeth, Muai would have said, With the fusion complete, Muai opened his eyes immediately. Crunch. Make a fist. Muai could clearly see that the fist was covered with a layer of scarlet light, and the power was completely arbitrary. Moreover, the physique that was weak just now has been improved at this moment. Even the skin seems to be getting better. Looking at the table that was slapped just now, if it is now, I am afraid that with a single finger, the table can be shattered in an instant. Not only that, this scarlet light is violent and powerful. Muai stretched out his right hand and spread his fingers slightly, and saw that the small parts on the table in front of him were immediately pulled by the force and flew up steadily. Then, came the hands of Muai. Good. Muai nodded lightly. This power is used like an arm, and there is no strange feeling at all. At this time, Muai finally had the confidence to fight against the weirdo in his heart. If there is another disaster, I am afraid you can solve it completely by yourself. Hey, having said that, Muai sighed softly. The chaos magic this time is just a castration version in the movie. Chaos magic for comics is simply not on the same level. The chaotic magic of comics can directly modify reality, which is completely equivalent to a bug against the sky. When Wanda said, "May there be no more mutants in the world," the chaotic magic that was caught off guard broke out in an instant, directly taking away 90% of the mutants in the Marvel world. Only 1% of the mutants survived. This shows how terrifying the chaos magic in the comics is. Muai pouted. Although he didn't get the terrifying ability in the comics, the power in front of him was enough to gain a place in this world. I calmed down a little bit. Muai put on the prepared black suit and looked at the undisguised handsomeness in the mirror. A smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. The new Ferrari is galloping down the road, and the tornado drives are terrifyingly fast. Moreover, under the extreme speed, there is no deceleration at all when cornering. Just wave your hand gently, and the whole car will return to the normal track in an instant under the control of superpower. Muai didn't feel any discomfort, despite driving like a cheat. This caused Tornado to take another look at Muai. It seems a little different. I don't know if it was an illusion, but the tornado didn't take it to heart. To the destination. Squeak, brake sound. Under the control of superpower, the car is forced to stop. The sky seemed to have just rained, and it was still a little gloomy. There is still a little water pool on the side of the road. Dragonroll is wearing a black skirt, and his mood is a little low. Take it. Muai handed over a white bouquet. The tornado was stunned for a moment, and took it lightly. Looking up at Muai, Tornado didn't speak. Muai also just smiled lightly. I know you are careless and only do your own heroic cause, I will just come to these little details. No. Tornado immediately turned his head. The strong character seems to have appeared again. Muai didn't care either. After all, the tornado in his impression, in addition to having a strong sense of responsibility and desire to protect, is really like a little girl who has not yet experienced life. The two walked side by side into the group of tombstones in front of them. The tombstones here basically bury those who died in the Battle of Weirdos, and the life of ordinary people is getting harder and harder. The appearance of weirdos brings a lot of danger to the world. And here, some small white flowers are planted in front of each tombstone. The little flowers blooming in front of the tombstones sprinkled a little water droplets, obviously because it had just rained. The two walked all the way, and many tombstones have had new flowers appear before. Seems to be fully mastered the magic of chaos. Muai actually felt some stubborn vitality from this little flower. Finally, after passing the last row of tombstones, Muai saw a large group of people. Wearing a black suit and wearing sunglasses, everyone held an umbrella in their hands, but only one person covered the woman in front of the tombstone with an umbrella. He was tall and tall, also wore a black dress, and had dark green shoulder-length short hair. Blowing snow. Blizzard from hell. Muai recognized it immediately. The first ranked B-rank hero also possesses terrifying superpowers, and his combat effectiveness is still strong, but in order to retain the first position he got for the first time, he did not choose to become an A-level hero. The bodyguards in front of them were the little brothers who were recruited by Fubuki. Snowblowing team. The vital signs are not strong, it's just beyond the level of ordinary people. Muai felt this casually, however, about blowing snow. The feeling it brings to Muai is much stronger. Even so, it was not as powerful as the tornado that seemed to be emitting the sun's rays. I'm afraid no one would have thought that Fubuki in front of him turned out to be Tornado's younger sister. Elder sister. Seeing the tornado coming, Fubuki immediately stood up. Respectful attitude, with a hint of fear. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. The members of the Fubuki group immediately said in unison. Although Tornado didn't like this kind of gang building, but Fubuki liked it, so let her be. After all, no matter how weak a group of ants gather together, they are just ants. Fubuki naturally also saw Muai, the titular brother-in-law. However, he just nodded lightly and chose to ignore it. After all, in Fubuki's eyes, Muai is just an ordinary person. Although it's a little awkward, however, the worship also officially began at this time. Tornado and Fubuki are filled with thoughts of those who have passed away. Although when his parents passed away, Tornado always thought it was his superpower that broke out and killed his family. In fact, this is what the weirdo did, but I didn't expect to witness the death of my parents to make the tornado explode directly. At that time, Fubuki was still small. Parents can only be known in stories. Everything is silent. Looking at the tombstone in front of him, Muai realized that he had a little more responsibility on his shoulders. The funeral is over. Are you going back to the Hero Association, or going home? Tornado said lightly. Fubuki's condition is okay, but I haven't been home for a long time. In the face of Fubuki, Tsunere's attributes are activated again. Muai smiled wryly. Tornado's character has always been that way. Tornado cares about his sister very much, but he always expresses it in this Tsunere way. Unexpectedly, Fubuki misunderstood and secretly competed with himself, and always wanted to compete with his sister, but he lived in the shadow of his sister all his life. This is also enough to witness how powerful the tornado is. Go back to the Hero Association. There are more and more weirdos appearing recently, and the Fubuki team needs to get stronger. Fubuki immediately looked at Tornado. Excited fire ignited in his eyes. Fist slightly. Blizzard feels, proving yourself is more important than anything else. Okay. Tornado nodded lightly and hesitated. Then take care of yourself. After speaking, he left without looking back. Although I don't care, but I still stuttered and said a caring word. Elder sister, Fushui was slightly taken aback. But then the fire in his eyes became more and more burning. Don't try too hard, in fact, your sister really cares about you. Muai said appropriately. You, Blizzard hesitated. At first, I didn't care about my brother-in-law in name. But at this time, Fubuki always felt that the brother-in-law in front of him seemed to be different. But he couldn't feel the difference. There's no need to fight hard to prove yourself, you're already better than most people. Last concern. Muai turned and walked towards the tornado. Looking at the girl in the black dress in front, Muai raised a smile. Perhaps the atmosphere at this time is heavier, so it should be appropriate to bid farewell to the past self and welcome a new future. After all, this sign-in is no joke. With the body transformed by chaos magic, Muai quickly caught up with the tornado. The two walked side by side. Tornado seems a little lost. Hesitated. Muai still took off his suit and put it on Tornado's shoulders. Tornado did not refuse. The two figures gradually drifted away. Fushui watched the two walk away, and carefully sorted out the little flowers in front of the tombstone, and then shouted. Fukiuki team listens to orders. Have. The big men in suits immediately straightened their waists, waiting for orders. Fubuki suddenly said, have a good rest today. What? Apparently, the big men in suits reacted half a beat slower. Fubuki shook his head slightly without explaining. The funeral ceremony fell. Tornado didn't go straight to the Heroes Association as usual. Feel the suit on your shoulders, and the somewhat cooler climate around you. The tornado started suddenly. Let's go to your comic shop. What? Muai was taken aback, etc. Why doesn't the wife play cards according to the routine? Haven't waited for him to say anything. With a kick of the accelerator, the entire Ferrari blasted out. Come to the manga house. Although it is in a relatively prosperous area, it looks a bit dilapidated and the building is a bit old. The billboard at the door is a bit messy, and it is covered with various S. Open the door. A musty smell. Cough, cough, cough. Muai couldn't take it anymore. What kind of existence is this predecessor that can be decadent to such a degree? He quickly lowered his head to clean up. Tornado waved. 2 invisible walls of air covered their bodies. Enter the comic book house. There is a smell of clutter everywhere, and only professional brushes and easels can tell the general work of this comic house. Although a bit cluttered, the tornado is here for the first time. See Muai in action. Tornado asked. Is all this on the ground garbage? Yes. Muai nodded immediately. Tornado stretched out his fingers, and all the trash and scraps on the ground flew into the trash can immediately. The slightly frowning brows were also relieved. Under the superpower of Tornado, the environment in front of him was immediately purified to the extreme. Muai was also relieved. If you don't show up again, we're going to remove you from the magazine. An angry voice sounded from outside the door. Muai saw the person coming, a fat man who was a little fat. A few thin strands of hair on top of my head. At least a few more. Then a certain bald cape. Etc. Why compare to some bald cape? This is the editor-in-chief of the magazine. To put it bluntly, it is the staff who follow the manuscript, and can extract some profits from it. Before Muai could speak, another voice came out dully. Ah. Did I go wrong? I saw a hero in a yellow hero costume walking over with a comic book. Ding. On the top of the bright head, there is not a single hair. Demon King. Muai blurted out. Looking at the image of the bald head in front of you, it's not too familiar. This is not exactly the One Punch Man, the real big devil level exists. A volunteer hero who should not have joined the Hero Association yet, Saitama. But Saitama was stunned and touched his head. What? Cough. It's nothing. Muai coughed awkwardly. It's impossible to tell the whole story, wouldn't it be very shameful? And the current big devil doesn't seem to realize how terrifying he is. The same editor-in-chief is impatient compared to the usual conversations. After leaving a sentence, if you can't create any more, wait for the entire network to block it. After that, turn around and leave. The same Tornado looked a little bad. He crossed his arms around his chest and looked thoughtfully at the back of the editor-in-chief as he left. It seems that a small calculation has been made in my heart. It's okay, it doesn't affect work. It's just that the state was not good before. Seeing that his wife was about to explode, Muai quickly explained. Your wife is worth a shot, it's probably too dangerous, even if the other party is just an ordinary citizen. Then. Let's do it. Tornado then retracted his gaze. He hesitated. Why was he so impulsive? After thinking about it, blame it on the return of caring just now. A certain editor-in-chief did not know that he had already walked before the gate of hell. As for Saitama, looking at the bald head who obviously didn't know him, Tornado immediately asked. Are you from the Hero Association? Hero Association? What? 2 big question marks on Saitama's bald head. Doubt filled his eyes. Tornado immediately lost interest in this muggle-like guy. I'm going home first. Leaving a sentence, Tornado turned and left. Seeing that this bald man should be a newcomer, she didn't bother to explain. A kick of the throttle. Leaving the scene 2 people messy in the wind. That. Can you sign my name for me? Saitama then remembered to be serious. Originally came to sign, but was delayed by this mess. Taking out the comics created by his predecessor, Muai looked at the somewhat eccentric creations on the cover. I really don't know how this guy can stand alone and watch it. But it doesn't matter. After getting the autograph, Saitama was a little happy. Oh, thanks. My name is Saitama, Muai. Muai nodded lightly. There should be new comics coming out soon, at least it's more interesting than your hands. Looking at the manga house next to him, there were page views about the former otaku, and countless ideas were hit in his mind at this time. Okay. The smile on Saitama's face immediately grew wider. It's because I've already started to figure out how to read the new comics, whether to lie down or lie down. A little excited. Sudden. Snapped. Saitama slapped his chin against the air. There have been a sudden increase in mosquitoes recently. But how? Mosquitoes react much faster. Saitama was too lazy to take pictures. See you later. After saying hello, Saitama turned to leave. It seems that just getting a signature is already very happy. If only I could be as calm as the great Demon King. Looking at Saitama's back, Muai found that he was a little envious. But this goal should be reached soon. Looking at the drawing board tool in the comic house in front of him, Muai also had a new plan in his mind. Suddenly, right at this moment, a violent sensation quickly magnified in Muai's perception. What happened? This strength has far surpassed that of humans, even stronger than several members of the Fubuki group. Whack? Numerous thoughts immediately appeared in Muai's mind. Look at the bustling street next to you, the vehicles coming and going, and the crowd. If danger occurs here, it will spread too far. And, I am afraid that the family property behind him will also suffer. If he had just crossed into this world, Muai would have chosen a safe place without hesitation. But now, the palms were slightly opened, and a trace of scarlet brilliance jumped in the palms. Muai also wanted to test the extent to which his newly acquired chaos magic reached. In that case, let's try the first battle. And the big devil. Just left, if you don't act fast, it should be a punch. Without hesitation, Muai immediately galloped away in the direction he perceived. At the same time, what? I'm finally free. Humans, it's time for you to pay the price. I saw that in a remote place, countless black and dirty water streams mixed together and condensed into a human shape. The purple skin was mixed with complex lines, the creature slowly stretched its body, and 2 tentacles appeared on the top of its head. It is completely the same as Piccolo, but the color is wrong. Antenna doll? Less than 10 meters away, the little boy subconsciously blocked the sun. The dazzling sunlight did not let him see what was in the distance. And his voice also quickly attracted the attention of the weirdo, who pressed closer. Finally, the little boy finally saw it clearly and opened his mouth at the same time. What? At this moment, the crisis came. At this time, a place full of science fiction. Countless staff in suits were extremely panicked at this time. Drop, drop, drop. A thick alarm sounded from the huge instrument. Countless red alerts appeared on the projection panel in front of me at the same time, which was the situation of being attacked. Here is the Hero Association. What needs to be responsible is the day-to-day assignment of tasks and the control of hazards. At this time, the alarm bells were ringing, and it was obvious that there was an attack by a strange person somewhere. Approaching. The monster is approaching. The man in the suit on the left console immediately shouted, "Is there no hero there?" Lightning Max and Smiley are on their way. The girl in the suit replied immediately. On the projection panel in front of him, there were 2 figures galloping away. The staff on the high platform issued an order. Announce the disaster level, hurry. Yes. Everyone is busy again. At the same time. Weird scene. Whoosh in the sound of breaking the sound barrier. A figure running fast suddenly took the little boy into his arms, and at the moment of sprinting forward, he turned his head and ran into the distance. Okay. The vaccine man frowned slightly. There are actually such insects under my eyelids. However, looking at the action of the insect, I should have wanted to save the child just now. Humph. A hero. The corners of his mouth raised slightly, and the vaccine man sneered. I see. The fast-running figure stopped temporarily, and his long yellow hair stood up high. The black tights have yellow lines, and there is a lightning-shaped mark on the cheek. Feeling this solid embrace, the little boy finally stopped crying. He raised his head timidly. You are Lightning Max. He exclaimed immediately. An excited joy welled up in my heart. After all, the person in front of him is a real A-level hero.
Don't worry, you're fine. Max grinned.
The little boy also nodded heavily, far away. Mr. Freak. Please give up your unnecessary struggles. We are the heroes who are here to clean up you. If you are interested, surrender immediately. Another voice sounded. A red suit, a big smiling face on the chest in the image of wearing yellow underwear. It's Smiley Superman. The little boy was surprised again. Obviously the little boy in front of him is also a hero fan. And he was so brave in front of weirdos. Smiling Superman immediately gave a thumbs up. Go to a safe place quickly. We're going to start fighting the weirdo. Good. The little boy hugged the doll tightly and ran to the surroundings. After running 2 steps, he did not forget to look back at the hero. Seeing the drama of saving the masses in front of him, the vaccine man lowered his head gloomily. In the act of destroying the Earth, human beings are the biggest culprits, and he also confirms that the will of the Earth was born. At this moment, he sneered. Do you really think you can handle me? Lift your head slowly. His eyes were full of indifference, and the look in his eyes was extremely cold. At this moment, Smile Superman felt a little pressure. No. Impossible. He clenched his fists tightly and tried to deny the thought in his mind. I'm Smiley Superman. A class hero. Despite this, his heart couldn't help trembling, as if the strange person in front of him had reached the ultimate terror. This weirdo is not easy. Such a sentence suddenly appeared in Lightning Max's heart. Looking at Smile Superman, Lightning Max took a deep breath. Go to war. With an order, the whole person took the lead in turning into a whirlwind, rushing towards the weirdo. The speed soared to the extreme in the blink of an eye, and the whole person disappeared in an instant. The next second has come to the vaccine person. Okay. The vaccine man's eyes narrowed slightly. A fist wrapped in lightning keeps expanding in the field of vision. This is a punch from Lightning Max's full strength. Lightning Fist. One of the stunts of fame. He was about to punch the monster in the face in front of him. Sudden. Snapped. The big purple hand instantly wrapped the fist. What? Lightning Max was shocked. The tall body of the vaccine man is completely beyond the scope of human beings, and his height has completely exceeded 4 meters. He originally thought it was just a power freak. Think of such a countermeasure. Lightning Max wants to take speed to solve the fight in an instant. But, at this moment, I felt the terrifying power from the big hand that wrapped the fist. Lightning Max's heart froze instantly. Misjudgment. Oh? Do you think I can't see through your figure? The vaccine man tilted his head, his right hand instantly clenched a fist, and a punch hit Lightning Max's face. A huge force wrapped around Lightning Max's figure and flew backwards. Boom. In the loud voice, Lightning Max's figure instantly smashed through the wall of the building in front of him. It hasn't stopped. Boom, boom, boom. Until it smashed through several one-story buildings. The figure of Lightning Max was finally embedded in the last wall. This moment. Passers-by were taken aback by the scene in front of them. They only reacted when they saw the hero who was full of blood and motionless at this time. What? A scream came out of the human mouth. Next second. All the talents reacted and immediately fled. Max. Smile Superman surprised. With such an astonishing speed, even he couldn't see clearly. This weirdo could catch it in an instant, and even the power of this punch had completely surpassed him.
Gu Dong. Swallowed. At this moment, he finally realized how powerful the monster in front of him was. Looking at the increasingly pale figure, he gradually shrouded him.
A sense of fear swelled in my heart. The thought of wanting to escape came into his mind. The huge fist of the vaccine man has come. Cold sweat broke out on Superman's head. But, he is a hero. The next second, he clenched his fists. Boom. In a huge explosion. Another building collapsed suddenly, and the deformed steel was exposed in the solid stone pillars. In the building, fire was everywhere. Electricity throbbed in the broken circuit wires. Help me. What? Rumbling. Another merciless collapse. The voice of help had just sounded, and it was already much weaker at this time. Injured. Muai frowned slightly. Stopping and looking at the building in front of you, there are already some signs of being torn apart, and the fragmentation of the foundation has caused the collapse of the high place. Fragmented, a building in one place, mixed with things like desks. Muai understood immediately. This is an office area. There are bloodstains under many slates, and under such a terrifying disaster, the power of human beings seems so weak. Chaos magic in the body, constantly monitoring everything around. Originally, I was rushing to the place where the freak broke out, but I didn't expect such a collapse on the way. There is a figure inlaid on the opposite wall. Lightning Max. Muai recognized it immediately. Looking at the blood on Lightning Max's face and the broken clothes on his body, the buildings with several collapsed sections can show that. It should have been smashed and flew here not far away. Help. Help. The voice of calling for help has become much weaker, and there is no breath. Under the perception of chaos magic, the sense of being trapped in the building at this time is getting smaller and smaller. Taking a look, Lightning Max, this guy's vital signs are fairly stable, but his breath has become extremely weak. Even so, it is stronger than the breath of ordinary people. Cracks have appeared in many places above the building, and the fragmentation in the lower part has caused many fragments to fly down. There was a lot of smoke and dust on the ground. In such a harsh environment, if you want to wait for the rescue of the hero, I am afraid that countless ordinary people who talk about him under the ruins have long lost their vital signs. Without hesitation, Muai immediately rushed towards the ruins. Under the strong perception, even dead life forms appear. Rumbling. Suddenly, the head collapsed again. Huge boulders fell. Muai waved. An invisible wave jumped between the palms, and the scarlet color covered Muai's body, and the powerful energy wave instantly enveloped the collapsed stone. Mind a move. Poof. The stone fell into a safe place. And looking in front of him, Muai waved his hand again, and the crushed stone slab on the ground immediately flew up. Below there were humans with bloodstains all over their bodies and even clearly broken leg bones. The suit and shoes he was wearing were already messy, and his body was injured in many places, so he couldn't move. Several people have even fallen into coma and may hang up at any time. Muai waved his hands, and the powerful chaotic magic gently led these bodies to fall to a safe place in the distance. In this piece of smoke and dust, all that everyone can see is a scarlet-colored package. and human beings far outside the building. Although they were very frightened, they did not dare to approach. Look. What is that? It's a human. Hurry up and save someone. Save people. Under the control of Muai, countless injured humans fell into the safe area, and the surrounding crowd immediately responded. In this disaster-prone world, no one can turn a blind eye. Because no one knows whether the disaster will come to him in the next moment. A truly indifferent person will also arouse the respect for life in the bottom of his heart in front of human nature. The smoke is so huge that no one can see Muai. He walked away from the human Muai under the ruins, and looked up at the heights again. In the cracked buildings, there are still several strong signs of life. This shows that these people are not injured, but they dare not act rashly because they are afraid of gathering in the building at this time. Click Jianzhou shattered again, and the walls that were held by several load-bearing walls were almost unable to support them. How to do, can anyone save me? The worker hiding under the desk in the prison cell held his head in his hands, and there was a deep fear in his eyes. It came so suddenly there that no one reacted at all. When he reacted, he was already on the verge of death. Jump down. Muai whispered softly. Looking at the gradually exercising wall, Muai knew that he couldn't wait any longer. Chaos magic erupted instantly. A scarlet color appeared in Muai's eyes. Similar to telepathy, it can also directly manipulate the human body. Really. Countless fearful workers seemed to be being manipulated at this time, and one by one stood out from under the desk like a marionette. Then came to the window. There were a lot of people, which immediately attracted the attention of the people downstairs. Look. What are they going to do? No, they're going to dance. Do not want. No matter how frightened the people downstairs were, they couldn't helplessly watch one life pass away before their eyes. Putting his hands together in front of his mouth, he hurriedly shouted. But chaos magic is not so easy to shake. Next moment. These humans who came to the window jumped up without hesitation, and jumped down like a free fall. A man downstairs quickly covered his eyes, daring not to look at the bloody scene. Many people covered their mouths, shocked, how desperate human beings are in the face of disaster. But the expected sound of falling from the building did not appear. One by one they opened their eyes. The scene in front of him was beyond everyone's expectations. I see. What is that? Someone asked. Countless scarlet colors enveloped these people, like super burning power, so that these people will no longer fall. Then, slowly fall. The scarlet color did not disappear until it landed firmly. At this time, the workers recovered their sanity. Ah? Why am I here? Wait. Look at our safety. Looking at the people around them one by one, they immediately revealed the joy of the rest of their lives. At this time, rumbling, the deep building was difficult to support and collapsed suddenly. Did you see it just now? Someone asked quietly. A few scarlet rays of light. Yeah, I saw it too. Is it the superpower of some hero? It shouldn't be, after all, there is no such existence among the heroes I know. The crowd chattered and started the discussion. At this time, Muai was already heading towards the weirdo. Boom. Boom. Punching into the muffled sound of flesh. Smile Superman's face was already covered in blood. The surrounding buildings have long been broken into pieces, not only the office buildings, but even all the surrounding areas have been turned into ruins. The dust in the sky makes the air extremely armed. Ha ha ha. The purple vaccine man who looks like the great demon King Piccolo laughs crazily. As soon as he stretched out his hand, he squeezed Superman Smile's neck, kicked it slowly, and looked closer. How long can you hold on? Did you see it? Everything you held on to has now turned into ruins under my hands. Do you think heroes are really useful? Cough. You. Don't. The neck was deeply pinched, and breathing had become difficult, but Super Smile still tried his best to squeeze out of the gap between his teeth. Clenching his fists, he was about to strike his own attack again. Bang. The vaccine man punched Smile Superman's face hard again. This punch shattered all attacks. Bang. Bang. With two punches, Smile Superman has lost his combat effectiveness. The weak arms drooped slightly, the helmet on his head was also broken, and the shattered fragments of the helmet penetrated deeply into the skin of smiling Superman. The bridge of the nose was deformed to the naked eye, and the blood poured down uncontrollably. Vaccine man sneers. It's still me taking back some of my strength. If it was my all-out punch, I'm afraid you would have completely disappeared by now. Finally, take a good look at what this broken world will be like, and destroy it in my hands. I am the vaccine man, the messenger of Mother Earth. You humans have made the Earth's environment a mess, and I am here to purge you. Snapped. Just left Smile Superman on the ruins. The vaccine man looked at the city in the distance. Wow, a wave of hands. Countless purple energy balls immediately appeared beside him. This superhuman strength fascinated him, and it was completely unexpected that he could possess such terrifying strength after turning into a weirdo. For a human who was once very caring about the environment. The environment in front of him has been destroyed beyond recognition, and turning into a monster is a gift from the earth. Now, destroy it. The vaccine man waved his hand. The countless purple energy balls around him shot out in an instant. Next second. Boom. Countless explosions were formed in an instant, and the airwaves that were set off directly lifted countless humans around. Click. The glass of countless buildings shattered at this moment. The glass torn into countless pieces fell to the ground, causing a large number of casualties. The vaccine man walked forward step by step, bringing not only destruction but also fear. A time. What? The screams of the crowd reached boiling point. Countless human beings are madly fleeing, and in the face of absolute terror, no one can remain calm. Ha 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 ha, I am your nightmare. The vaccine man laughed wildly. Wei Wei clenched her fist and more purple energy balls appeared around her body. Under the very second line, he pushed forward with a big hand. These countless energy balls were suddenly shared by the distant city. And this time, there are countless human beings gathered in the city. Humans who couldn't escape on the floor of the building could only watch the terrifying energy ball flying towards the building. After seeing it, everyone knows the power of this energy ball. As long as it touches it, it will definitely die. At this moment, despair began to spread in everyone's heart. Are we going to die? Someone calmly made the most desperate voice. The trembling voice expressed the last trace of unwillingness. But how can this be done? Hero. Who will save us? Wow. I don't want to die yet, I'm not married yet. The extent of the monster's destruction is still deepening. And in further upgrades, the war correspondent clutched the construction helmet on his head. This group of retrogrades needs to report the situation as soon as possible, and it is also obvious that they need to pay the price of life at this time. However, the reporter continued to report. The association has just stated that the level of this disaster is dragon level. Wow. As soon as these words came out, the audience instantly burst into an uproar. Dragon class. How is this possible? Once it is a dragon level, I am afraid that the entire city will be destroyed. No, that weirdo is here, run. The crowd instantly boiled. Around the reporters, countless moving people swarmed to flee to safety. Then. Not good, there are still people in the building. The reporter pointed. He suddenly noticed the crowd around the glass of the building. What to do? Where are the heroes? Come and save them. The monster's terrifying energy is here. At this moment, everyone saw the energy ball flying in the distance. And the figure of the eccentric finally emerged. The purple skin has a voice almost like a giant, and the energy ball waving at will can blow up all the places in an instant. Seeing the energy ball flying into the building, the person must die. A little boy on the side of the road suddenly cried out. Who will save us? Next second, the energy ball is falling. Gone. Everyone knows that there is no more hope. Sudden. Do not give up. Qingling's voice sounded, and the visitor waved his hand. The scarlet light instantly shrouded all the places where the energy balls were going to land. The terrifying chaotic magic erupted instantly, covering all the energy balls, and this scarlet color also formed a protective cover on everyone's heads. In the smoke, a man walked out slowly. The person here is Muai. Good guy. Hurry up or fail to catch up with the destruction of the vaccine man. Looking at the half city that was blasted into slag in front of me, the visual impact was absolutely shocking. However, chaos magic only strengthens a certain physique, and more of it is the magic used between waves, which is really not suitable for speed. Flick your finger lightly. Paw. Paw. The energy ball in the sky, wrapped in chaos magic, suddenly burst. But in a scarlet-colored package, it was as simple as a broken egg. Under absolute control, Muai could feel that he was like the master of the battlefield at the moment. Are you a hero? My God, a hero, he saved us. Hero. The appearance of Muai was like a shot in the arm, hitting everyone's heart. Appearing at the most desperate moment, everyone felt the excitement of the rest of their lives. Okay. Suddenly, Muai frowned slightly. A sense of exploration came. Muai found that there were cameras in the distance. At this time, it was only the back view, and there was smoke and dust all around. I'm afraid I couldn't see his face clearly. After a moment of silence, Muai reached out and wiped his face. The delicate face was immediately wrapped in a scarlet color, blurred and difficult to see clearly. After all, this is a society with developed information, in case the wife sees it at a certain moment. That doesn't make sense. For now, let's get along with my wife as an ordinary person. Take your mind back. Muai saw the weirdo who stopped. Purple skin and Piccolo are like a guy carved out of a mold, but a deeper investigation Muai immediately found this weirdo. There are only 3 words to describe it: very disgusting. Not because of the tentacles on the head, but because under this human appearance, hidden is a monster with a cockroach-like tone. At this moment, Muai wanted to apologize to the Great Demon King Piccolo. This guy can't be pulled out to compare with the Great Demon King Piccolo. The joke is over. The weirdo looked over. What strange hero are you? I'm not a hero. Muai shook his head slightly. After all, strictly speaking, his current identity is just an ordinary person. Humph. I don't care what kind of strange hero you are. You dare to obstruct my footsteps and see. The guy lying there, look at how I tore the world to shreds. Piccolo. Ah no, the vaccine man snorted coldly. My great strength comes from the gift of Mother Earth. The environment of the Earth has been destroyed, and you damn it humans are the culprits. Starting today, I will destroy your human world. His hands were clenched into fists, and he was already furious at these heroes' repeated over-the-top obstructions. Wave your hands. Whoosh! The purple light instantly gathered around the body and condensed into a ball. The jumping arc shows the power of this light ball, which is not small. Muai also saw this scene clearly. In the powerful perception of chaos magic, this vaccine man has a collection ability similar to superpower, which can process and gather the ions contained in the air together. If you guessed correctly, I am afraid it is the 2 antennae on the head, similar to the antenna. In the blink of an eye, a powerful blasting energy can be formed. I see. I thought it was an enhanced type, but I didn't expect it to be a mage. The 2 of them won't lose. Muai subconsciously thought of Lightning Max and Smiley Superman. As the One Punch Man, he naturally knows who the guy in front of him is. Vaccine Man. A monster whose disaster level is dragon level. With his own power, he can even destroy a city, and even completely crush most A-level heroes. How? As soon as he appeared, he encountered the most terrifying bald-headed devil. One punch. Just send this guy to see God. There are not many scenes, but it does not mean that the monster in front of him is weak. Especially at this moment, Muai is clear. Under the powerful perception of chaos magic, the vaccine man in front of him has a very tenacious vitality and is a mutated monster. Moreover, he shouted about the gift of Mother Earth, but to put it bluntly, it was a long-term psychological distortion, and finally abandoned the human body. Just choose a powerful force. Such an existence simply cannot afford the gift of the earth. Thinking of this, Muai immediately lost interest. Are you finished? Humph. The vaccine man snorted coldly and did not answer Muai's question. It was Muai who waved the countless purple light balls that appeared all over his body with both hands, and flew to Muai in an instant. The eyes of the vaccine man are beating. This time, the attack is no longer scattered. No matter how powerful the human being in front of him is, it is impossible to prevent the outbreak of so many light balls. Even if some of them are prevented, as long as one explodes next to this human, then it will be successful. He's even starting to get excited, and this should be the 3rd hero to get in his way. And it seems that this group of people was saved at a critical moment. If this hero is defeated at this moment, the humans behind him will probably be in direct despair. Boom. The heavy explosion unfolded in an instant. He succeeded. Thinking of this, the vaccine man even wanted to laugh out loud again. No, he couldn't help it. Ha 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 ha. He seemed to have seen the tragic state of Muai being blown to pieces. Noisy. A cold voice sounded. Okay. Vaccines were stunned. How is this possible? With this level of explosion, most human beings don't even want to survive. Under this terrifying power, ordinary people can only be blown up to slag. However, there is only one possible explanation. That is the human in front of me. It is not simple. Is this a dragon-level geek? Are you confident? Muai sighed. If dragon-level monsters weren't so arrogant, I'm afraid they wouldn't be sent to God in seconds. All dragon-level monsters have certain strengths. Even powerful life-saving skills. It is a pity that one by one has become arrogant because of their strength. In front of the great demon king who thought he was an ordinary person, he had to take that punch. The smoke fell, revealing Muai's figure. A scarlet color, covering the whole body without taking any damage. Muai looked at the vaccine man and said calmly. If you don't show your full strength, I'm afraid you won't be able to get out of this place. After all, the form in front of him is too similar to the great demon king Piccolo. And that's not what this monster really is about. Mouthpart monsters like insects are the body. On the other hand, Muai also wanted to test his chaotic magic and see what level he would reach when he encountered a real dragon-level strength. Holding his arms tightly, Muai looked at the vaccine man so calmly. Damn it. Damn it. Feeling the contemptuous gaze, the vaccine man suddenly became angry. He gritted his teeth slightly, and waved his hands again and again. Pop pop, an electric arc spread in the air immediately, and suddenly, it turned into a purple electric ball and hit Muai. The purple electric ball jumped, and there was a burning smell in the air. Muai frowned slightly. Why doesn't this guy even take good care of the environment himself? Feel free to wave. Chaos magic instantly turned into super control. Wherever the light ball goes, it instantly turns into nothingness. Knowing the working principle of this purple light ball, what Muai can do is to dissolve the ions inside in an instant. And this requires extreme control when controlling chaos magic. Seeing that his strongest move is being constantly resolved, the vaccine man is a little suspicious of life. How is this possible? But after a moment of silence, he raised his head and laughed again. No human hero has ever pushed me to this level, you are very lucky. Lucky what? Muai smiled, half smiling. The guy in front of him, why is he full of middle school aura? Could it be that he is also poisoned by comics? This is simply worse than the bald-headed devil, this house. In this case, you are not in vain. It is your honor to die under my extreme form. The vaccine man grins. Slamly, the purple skin began to agitate, as if densely packed ants were running on the surface of the skin, and the corners of the mouth gradually turned into mouthparts. Sharp fangs erupted instantly, snapped. Transparent wings appeared behind him, and the tentacles on his head became 4. Muai's eyes narrowed slightly. The so-called extreme form is nothing but the body of this monster. To put it bluntly, it is to liberate the power that has been suppressed into human beings. Completely abandoned human identity and accepted the strange power of psychological alienation. The power gained is simply multiplied. Just 1 second. Muai could feel the strange person in front of him. Just a moment ago, it was just a flame that was emitting, but at this moment it was like a burst of flame. Weird. Muai touched his chin. This is, after all, the unsolved mystery of this world. What kind of force guided this weirdness, made countless people mutated, and the dark side of the heart was infinitely magnified and liberated? What is the truth of this world? Well, it's too early to understand these. What? Vaccines people drink all their lives. At this moment, I finally fully accepted the eccentricity and abandoned the identity of human beings. The tall body turned into an insect, with mantis claws that looked like a sickle, and sharp fangs, exuding a steel color. The ultimate transformation. Finish, he looked up suddenly. Whoosh whoosh. The dust rose, the figure disappeared in place, and the next second came to Muai's side. Base. The sharp sickle slashed towards Muai's head. Humph. Vaccines hummed inwardly. No matter how strong this human being, it is impossible to resist his ultimate form. Seeing that his claws were about to be chopped on this person's head, this person didn't seem to have reacted. The self-confidence that had just been knocked back sprouted again. Even the next second, he had seen the scene where Muai's brain burst. Sudden. Clang. In the sound of gold and iron. The sharp claws were actually blocked by this scarlet color. What's this? This second of hesitation. Do you really think I can't see your face? Suddenly, Muai turned his head and looked over. This look. Not good. Alarm bells are ringing in the hearts of vaccine people. Cold sweat on his forehead. The terrifying coercion came from the human body in front of him, and this strong oppression has completely surpassed imagination. Whoosh, the figure turned into a whirlwind again and disappeared. He didn't even doubt that as long as he stayed where he was, he would die even for a second. Brush. The figure reappeared, already 100 meters away. He finally understands. Even in his ultimate form, he couldn't compete with the person in front of him. At this time, he had already lost his initial self-confidence. Looking at the cities around him that he had razed to the ground, he was no longer arrogant. The whole body was in cold sweat, and I couldn't help shaking. That coercion is terrifying. Sudden, that's it. A cold voice sounded from behind, and then, not then. Everything feels suddenly gone. Pia. At the last second, the big eyeball saw the body that was completely broken into the sky. And under a scarlet color, it disappeared instantly. After doing this, Muai closed his hands slightly. I can't help but feel a little lost. Pity. Even a dragon-level vaccine man can't test how strong chaos magic is. Looking at the sand and dust in the sky, and the surrounding buildings that have been destroyed into ruins. I'm afraid this is already the full fighting power of the vaccine people. If you really want to test the strength, Muai thought of a person subconsciously. Wife. I am afraid that there is only a tornado that resists this chaotic magic. Take your mind back. The people in the distance were relieved when they saw that the source of the disaster had been eliminated. However, after hesitating for a while, the trembling camera came over again. Regarding his identity as an ordinary person, Muai still does not want to change. No more hesitation, Muai left the scene through the sand and dust. At the same time, a bald man in this yellow hero costume arrives Shanshan. Aw. Looking at the disfigured buildings and empty places around him, he touched his bald head, with big question marks written all over his head. Obviously, he's late, and there was a burning smell in the air. It was clear that there had been a fierce battle just now. Ding dong, only then did the ambulance come from a distance. Hurry up, the ambulance door opened and the nurse took out the stretcher. Several people quickly ran to the distance, smiling Superman with a faint breath. War correspondents also came to the scene to report. The freak has been eliminated by the mysterious hero. This uplift disaster ends here. Who is the mysterious hero? Is it an unregistered hero of the Hero Association? The magical scarlet light is like fantasy magic. Who is he? Bang. Push open the villa door. I'm back. Master. The cleaning auntie said hello. In this family, the tornado is called the young lady, and everyone in Muai has always kept the title of the young master. Hello. Muai laughed. The first battle of chaos magic ended, and the results were outstanding. Muai was simply in a good mood. Seeing Muai returning home, auntie was slightly taken aback. Why did this young master's personality suddenly change? It was a bit dull before, and it was no wonder that the young lady would not agree with the identity of the young master. Today, something has changed. Under the powerful perception of chaos magic, the tornado at the moment is lying in the bedroom and sleeping. Muai didn't bother. Because after the battle was over at this time, the recent goals suddenly appeared in his mind. Post a comic. Back in the studio, there are neat comic tools in front of me. And these are all organized by servants. The manga club is also just a place to publish manga, discuss cooperation, and create daily. But also keep this room at home. As Muai, who has read countless comics, the most impressive masterpieces are still so clear in his mind. Compared with the previous creation, it is almost one sky and one underground. And in this world where comics are very scarce, being able to draw really good comics is undoubtedly a spiritual pastime for readers. But this world is full of crises, and no one can guarantee whether there will be a strange person in the next moment and destroy everything. Under crisis theory, everyone can be in danger. So with regard to creation, it is getting more and more sluggish. The sluggish creative income decreases, thus losing the joy of creation. Cycle back and forth. And now, Muai is about to break this cycle. The next second, Muai picked up the brush. As a good comic foundation for the predecessor, it is displayed at this moment. Concentrate on it, and write 5 points similar. No. Muai shook his head immediately. Ripped off the drawing in front of him. As a first draft, it clearly failed. A real creator needs to do more than just similarity. If you want to draw a good comic, the freeze frame of everything is just the foundation. The second one. The third. Finally. The fourth, the finalization is over. Looking at the creative characters on the sketch, Muai nodded slightly. He has long fiery red hair, strange-looking earrings, and a plaid coat. The chic sunblade on the waist, and the markings on the forehead. It's done. Kamado Tanjiro, the protagonist of Devil Slayer. This manga is a masterpiece. In that world, it was extremely popular, and Muai, as a loyal reader, has been reading for a long time. Even bought a lot of peripherals, COS, with this role, it became popular for a while. Now, looking at the familiar cartoon characters in front of him, Muai has a certain sense of relevance in his heart, since he has been reborn in this world as this identity. That must make this anime shine, and, most importantly, quickly solve the source of income. It will be helpful for the strategy wife. If that's the case, it's you. Muai made up his mind. Just put this first draft aside. At the beginning of the creation, all the memories in Muai's heart were turned into comics and began to unfold page by page. And at the same time, outside world, the mysterious hero that appeared solved the battle. Unfortunately, we didn't find any information about the hero. A layer of fuzzy scarlet shades the hero's face. Oh, what a pity. Countless people who were rescued by Muai sighed in their hearts. This scene was also published on the evening news. The host read the call script as usual, and finally came to this world. Call. The host took a deep breath. Today, A is an unimaginable scale of a monster attack. Several buildings were razed to the ground. The death toll is XX. But fortunately, a mysterious hero appeared at a critical moment and finally quelled this dragon-level disaster. And so far no one knows the identity of this mysterious hero. The ability of the hero who only knows this seems to be the use of scarlet superpowers, similar to magic. This hero appeared out of thin air and saved countless lives. Thank you, hero. Please watch the live report next. Screen flips. The Hero Association has announced that the level of this disaster is dragon level. The war correspondent just said this.
Rumbling. Immediately there were numerous collapse sounds.
Visible to the naked eye, countless purple light balls converged and attacked frantically. The energy generated by the explosion directly raised the building to the ground. And in front of you, reporters also spotted other humans in the building. Right in this moment of crisis, a hero covered in scarlet color appeared in front of the screen camera. Title: The moment of crisis for the mysterious hero comes. Afterwards, after everyone is safe, the hero faces off against the eccentric again. But obviously, the hero is super powerful, and the weirdo in front of him can't cause any danger at all. Then, in a smoky fight, the scarlet color erupted in an instant. Looking again, the eccentric has been completely wiped out by the hero. At this moment, everyone in the audience breathed a sigh of relief. At this time, the sound of an ambulance also appeared in the camera. We can see the A-level hero Lightning Max and the A-level hero Smile Superman, and there is no way to fight this weirdo. Even at this moment, there will still be heroes. Faced with the danger of life, Smile Superman still stands firm. Just got the latest news. The life characteristics of Lightning Max and Smile Superman have stabilized, and there will be no danger to life. Let us before the news pray for the safety of the hero together. I also hope that the new hero will enter the public eye as soon as possible, thank you. This is the end of the news on the spot. However, in this information developed society. The scene of Muai and the vaccine man fighting in the smoke immediately appeared on the internet. It turned out that during the battle, other people had already taken pictures with mobile phones. The scene is not cool, but it is enough to see the burst of scarlet color. The purple vaccine man couldn't help Muai at all. In the end, it was killed in seconds. Title: Is it a new S-class hero again? Who is he? The appearance of this post immediately became popular on the internet, and countless people reposted and even commented. And one thing is clear to everyone. The appearance of the hero represents peace, and the impact on this event is completely positive, and this just promotes the interaction between the hero and the common people. Every hero has supporters. Muai didn't know his unintentional act, but he secretly cultivated a large number of fans. At this time, Muai has just completed the creation of the first volume of the manga. Looking at the lifelike Ghost Slayer blade in front of him, Muai couldn't help but smile on his dirty face. It's done. All the creative details about the blade of Ghost Slayer are almost deep in my mind. As a former fan, Muai knows very well. And this is just to meet the editor's reminder. However, this time Muai did not choose to publish in the newspaper. Without hesitation, Muai turned on the network. A post, Heroes of God, where are you? Immediately appeared under the nose. The texture turned out to be a scarlet color in the dust. Something familiar. Muai was slightly startled. Are there people in this world who use this ability too? Just clicked in. The next moment, Muai was shocked. Looking at the post written in a tone that is not the party, but seems to know better than the party, the illustrations above were even the praise of the world. It simply blows chaos magic into the sky, someone even commented. Will the new hero have the same strength as Tornado? What does this mean? Please don't underestimate our tornado. What your tornado? The trembling tornado is everyone's. The rumored S-class hero, will there be a new one? Looking at a society with developed network information, there is so much information. Muai couldn't help but continue to climb over. In the end, 3 squeezed out between the teeth. FCK, and at this moment, the exhaustion seemed to be swept away. At the same time, mysterious organization. Compared with the peace in the world outside, it is obviously much busier here. The floor rattled, and countless people took steps and were running. They were holding thick documents and summaries of events in their hands. Every time there is a freak attack, it's always busy here. Here, it's the Hero Association. One of the women with eyes in a suit pushed open the door on the right. The huge electronic display screen, the fat big guy in a suit, stood pretending to be with his hands behind his back. What's playing on the display is the most recent post on the web. The girl was slightly taken aback, but immediately saluted and reported. Report. A-level hero Lightning Max and A-level hero Smile Superman are seriously injured. No more heroic activities in the near future. The subsidy has been issued. The voice fell, and the girl stopped talking, waiting for the instructions of the person in front of her. Good. After a long while, the boss nodded lightly. He pushed his glasses slightly. The field of vision did not leave the display screen in front of him. Investigate this person's information as much as possible, and it is best to incorporate it into the hero association. The girl was stunned again. There are not many things that can make this big man pay attention. Obviously, this incident brought another hero on fire. After hesitating for a while, she asked again. Then, what about the treatment? S-class. After the boss finished speaking, he turned and left. Do things without a trace of sloppiness. Instead, the girl was left behind and muttered to herself on the spot. S-class hero. This is too scary. Tornado Villa. Brush. Muai zipped up the painting bag. Pop. He patted the picture bag with a stern smile on his face. After all, these things in front of you are the key to rising in this world. However, it has not yet been published. It is also necessary to use some professional tools to perform secondary processing on the painting in front of you, as well as to modify some details. And all of this can only be done in comics. Carrying his painting bag, Muai pushed open the door. Okay. The next second, the scene in front of him startled him. I saw the place where the tornado floated in the air, and it looked like a bathroom. But under some dim hallway lights, this fluttering state is really a bit like. Tornado didn't speak, holding a tablet in his hand, not knowing what he was flipping through. Muai smiled wryly. This is a portrait of a normal life with my wife. After a face-to-face meeting, Muai walked out of the villa. At this moment, the tornado flipped the tablet in his hand. The above information is the news that just exploded today. Incidents of monster attacks happen from time to time. But, the popularity is so high, and it is the first time I have seen it in such a long time. I even saw that someone in the comment area compared him to this person. The tornado was out of breath. I'm a veteran S-class hero. Secret weapon. Understand? All cats and dogs must be compared. Humph. With a small mouth, the tornado is full of unhappiness. Drive to the manga club. Turn on overhead lights. Immediately there was a musty smell in the air. The environment is a bit bad. Muai frowned slightly and waved his right hand. Countless scarlet colors immediately filled the entire space. Although the chaos magic in the movie is not as strong as in the comics, it is still very comprehensive. The Scarlet Witch can even use the chaos magic to almost kill Thanos. In today's fight, Muai also found out. The chaos magic he inherited is completely at its peak, mastered by the Scarlet Witch. If it was just the initial Avengers Alliance, the chaotic magic mastered by the Scarlet Witch might not even be able to beat ghost-level monsters. After all, the method of use is too simple, and the magic energy that can be mobilized is very rare. At that time, a single minion could damage Scarlet Witch. And when the Avengers fought Thanos, the Scarlet Witch flew over and almost crushed Thanos with magic. That detail, Muai remembers very clearly. And now this chaotic magic not only covers the 3 surrounding cities, but even forced control of the mind, flight, defense and crit damage, are simply incomparably powerful. And now, improving the environment is just a matter of thought. After thinking about it, the entire manga club took on a new look, and even the rusted iron frame next to it became a brand new look. The dead flowers bloomed again at this time, and the manga club was full of life. Muai is in a good mood. Opened the art bag and took out the prepared comics. Start. With his hands waving, countless crimson colors immediately enveloped the surrounding processing tools. Under the extreme feeling, everything around him comes into view, and all he has to do is to manipulate these tools and microprocess the paintings in front of him. Maybe using chaos magic to do something like this is a bit pricey, but Muai would love to. Less than a minute. All things processed. Finally, the brand new Demon Slayer manga appeared in front of us. Very good. Muai couldn't help but say. In that case, let's start. Using an electronic scanner to scan the cartoons in front of me, all the images appear completely in the computer data, and the computer next to me is extremely fast. This is an instrument specially equipped with the function of uploading comics. Touching his chin, Muai took on the pseudonym of the Raiders and clicked to upload. Looking at the comics that have been uploaded and successfully passed the review, Muai is full of expectations. At the same time, newspaper. The boss is smoking a cigar, with a fat body and a mustache. As a true ruler, all he has to do is manage his editors-in-chief. And being responsible for the operation of the entire literary product is just a drizzle. Although in this world, literary products belong to the sunset industry, they are still profitable. Only constant exploitation can make him feel happy. I have already thought about how to spend and what to buy. If there is no new draft in the comics section, it can be removed. He said lightly. And standing in front of him is the editor-in-chief who urged the draft last time. At this time, the obedience is like a grandson. Hearing the boss's words, he nodded again and again, but he secretly hated Muai in his heart. One less sector means one less income for him. Sudden. Ding dong. The boss's computer rang, and it turned out to be inside information from the platform. This should be a case of a creator publishing a good product, provided by an insider. What the boss has to do is to try his best to coerce and lure the creator, and buy this valuable creation at the lowest price. The income obtained will also be divided into 50-50, but it is almost a signal of two people if they do not go through the internet channel. The boss opened it smoothly, and the exquisite comics immediately came into view. Bah! He opened his mouth wide in shock. The cigar in his mouth fell to the ground. He didn't care. Made by God, it's a good thing. The more the boss looked, the brighter his eyes became, and he even touched the display screen with his hand. The story with the perfect lines and the characters outlined vividly. This has almost revived the already gray and stinky literary industry. The boss himself is a very discerning existence, able to survive in this industry and even develop as an industry. He is also very capable. Why give me this information? The boss frowned slightly, which also made him go away. Carefully observe such painters, without decades of creation, it is impossible to have such a foundation. He was a little puzzled, such a small trick can only deceive newcomers. There is no way that such an old-fashioned creative artist can be deceived. Flip through the information and come to the creator's profile. The boss was stunned. Whiteboard. Nothing. How is this possible? No matter how you look at Muai's information, there is only basic information. But it is related to the user's privacy issues, all cannot be displayed. Look at these. The boss lay down on the chair. He got it. Why did the insider suddenly give him this information? Because in creation, there are two situations where you can get good things. One is the awe-inspiring talent, and the initial creation is eye-catching. Even so, it is just a very ordinary thing. But it already has some value. The boss can see this, or not. Another is the sudden burst of inspiration. Even a newcomer can create something almost perfect. But it's different. Once a discerning eye finds this thing, it will be a huge profit to buy it back. Maybe, this is a chance. The boss pushed his glasses, and his eyes became sharp immediately. Follow this author throughout the whole process. No matter what the cost, we must absorb this person. Yes. Although he didn't understand what was going on, the editor-in-chief nodded immediately. Seeing that the boss's face was gloomy and uncertain, and now he is very sure, he can only do it. Powerful network information spreads immediately. City R. An office called Beautiful Boy Castle. What? Sweetheart Masquerade yawned. He had just been busy for a day, and was already a little sleepy at this time, but the thought of waiting for an interview later made him a little disgusted. Still, this is his second identity as a hero. In your spare time, put on makeup. Opened the phone as usual. First, I saw the news of the new hero of the Scarlet Color. It's been a long time since such a sensation broke out, and Masked Sweetheart is also interested. Interesting. After reading the information and looking at the comments above, the Masked Sweetheart just gave a pertinent evaluation. As for the S-class, can you reach the S-rank hero and pass me first? His eyes were suddenly cold. As the first hero of the A-level, he also insisted on the job of goalkeeper. After all, in A-level and B-level heroes, the implementation meaning of heroes is not very pure, and countless people become A-level or B-level heroes with a purpose. And what he has to do is to warn these weak people. Just about to turn off the phone, a push appeared before me. Blade of Ghostslayer. What? Looking at the beautiful cover, Masked Sweetheart couldn't help but be slightly taken aback. The ghosts almost opened it. After all, he rarely sees these things. This time, however, there was interest. The more you look, the more you feel. Soon, he was labeled a good thing. Although it is only a short volume, it is enough to enrich his spiritual world. In today's busy working environment, he has long been exhausted physically and mentally, and even this world with frequent disasters has made countless people nervous. The paintings in front of me are undoubtedly leisure in the midst of busyness. As for the author, it's just a noob, however, he still paid attention. And he forgot, just logged in, it was his personal account. How terrifying is the attention his account has received. After finishing the work, Muai looked at the collection data above and could only sigh. After all, everything needs to start from scratch and accumulate from childhood. This comic is undoubtedly a very good work, but it will take time to ferment. Right now, I can only go home. It was getting late, and everyone had rested when they got home. Looking at the huge bedroom, Muai felt a hint of loss in his heart. I don't know when I can get my wife XX hot on the Kong head. Too difficult. At the moment, we can only pin our hopes on the comics we create. The night was getting dark, and the city was full of silence. In the haystacks beside the road, the chirping of insects gradually started, and the moonlight became darker. W City. Deep underground. Countless figures in white coats are also busy. The strange thing is that these countless people in white coats look exactly the same. The finger quickly clicked on the operation panel in front of him, and the robotic arm immediately moved in the distance. Injection. The man with glasses gave the order. The surrounding people also immediately cooperated. Snapped. Click on the keyboard. On the robotic arm in the distance, the sharp needle plunged into the green liquid jar in front of him, and the long needle sank into the woman's body. The woman in the green liquid jar has her eyes closed and appears to be in a coma. With a big oxygen mask on your mouth. Okay. The pain caused the woman to groan as the needle was inserted into her body. The black liquid that the needle pierced into the body began to push. Gradually, the woman's body appeared with patterns like mosquitoes. Whoosh, withdraw the needle. Evolution. Start. The glasses man muttered. Looking at the sharp-eyed experiment, I couldn't help but be excited. The sun shines on the face. Muai opened his glasses yo-yo. In front of me is a familiar environment, and everything is still in this room. Although I really want everything that happened yesterday to be a dream, it's a pity. He really crossed. Whatever you want, wave your hand. The scarlet color immediately wrapped the surrounding clothing and the bed was floated, and then it was like having a life and wore it on Muai by itself. Done this. Muai also tried to float up like a tornado. Under the powerful chaotic magic, doing this kind of thing is simply a piece of cake. Go to the bathroom, wash and brush your teeth normally. Looking at the young face in the mirror, Muai's mouth showed a habitual smile. It was a good night's sleep. The tornado villa is detected, do you sign in? The system beep sounds. Muai was slightly taken aback. He hesitated for a moment, then shook his head slightly. No. The number of check-ins can be accumulated, and it is not necessary to check in at the tornado villa. But as for what rewards he will get, Muai would rather try it elsewhere. The villa exudes a strong breath of life, and under the terrifying perception of chaotic magic, Muai discovers. The wife seems to be still sleeping, and the cooking ant in the villa just got up at this time. Muai hurried down and came to the kitchen. Master. The cooking ant was slightly taken aback. The usually lazy young master, why get up at this time? And what are you doing in the kitchen? When she thought that the kitchen had not been cleaned up, she hurriedly said. Just go out and let me cook. Breakfast is as usual today. Seemingly nervous, her hand was clutching the apron. However, Muai refused. Just leave me here for breakfast today. As for the messy places, clean up. The first step of the strategy. As the saying goes, the quickest way to tie a man's heart is to tie his stomach. And the same applies in reverse. Tornado has powerful superpowers and is a well-known S-class hero. But in terms of life, she is just a little girl who doesn't know much about anything. There is a special person for breakfast every day. Although the style is different, but it has been a long time, and it has also produced a certain boredom. So, Muai chose this method without hesitation. That, the cooking ant just wanted to refuse. Just saw the knife flying in Muai's hands, and his cooking skills were obviously in depth. Okay, she just compromised. But since coming to this home, she has never seen Muai cook. She started her busy work with an uneasy mood. Here, after choosing the right ingredients, Muai also started a cooking show. In that world, as an otaku, the technology of cooking was easy to come by. Now the body has been strengthened and the coordination of the whole body is higher. Whether it is strength or speed, it is much stronger than the physique of the original world. With the ingredients in his hands flying, Muai has already thought about the breakfast series. Finally, after half an hour, under the powerful perception of chaos magic, Tornado woke up from his sleep. What? Yawned and moved his fingertips. The quilt turned up automatically, and the pajamas fluttered on his body. The whole person seemed to have overcome gravity and floated up. Rubbing his sleepy eyes, he came to the hall as usual. But she didn't expect that Muai was one step ahead of her today. Morning. And unexpectedly, Muai called to say hello. Okay. Tornado nodded lightly, came to the table, and sat down leisurely. He opened the plate in front of him. Suddenly, a strong fragrance of food hits immediately. This made her look a little dazed, and she immediately woke up 8 points. He had never felt this scent before. Even if the cooking ant at home is already at the level of a 5-star hotel, there will always be a habit after eating delicious food. This sudden change, and the aroma of this meal has aroused her appetite. At this time, chopsticks and a fork were placed in front of the dinner plate. She hesitated and picked up the fork. Fork a small piece of stone and put it in his mouth. Muai also happened to appreciate this scene. Obviously, a broad and profound Chinese food, no matter who will like it. The dragon roll did not disappoint Muai, and immediately immersed himself in the food. Sudden, monitored energy fluctuations in City D. The system prompt came. And Muai, through the powerful perception imitated by chaos, sensed some images immediately. I saw that in that peaceful city, a huge humanoid creature appeared at this time, and it was impossible to determine whether it was a human being. With a huge figure, he stepped out and destroyed many buildings. Under the huge footprints, everything was reduced to ruins. This familiar scene immediately reminded Muai of something. Don't hesitate anymore, Muai said something else. Get up and leave immediately. Pick a car at random and put the key in. With a kick of the accelerator, the car sped out. The remaining dragon rolls in the food on the plate looked at each other. It's different. It doesn't seem to be an illusion. At this moment, she actually somewhat confirmed the previous idea. However, it doesn't seem to affect anything. After a while, she finally put the last piece of food on the plate in front of her into her mouth. Andy came to clear the table. Tornado immediately gave a thumbs up. Today's food is delicious. Quietly licking the corner of her mouth, today's meal really made her index finger move. The ant immediately smiled bitterly and said, "Actually, I didn't cook today's food." "What?" Tornado was slightly taken aback. "Who else can cook except my aunt's family?" "Actually, it's Master Muai." Tornado suddenly froze. At the same time, bang, bang, bang. The giant's footsteps fell, and the earth kept shaking. The man in the white coat on his shoulders, his hair blown by the wind, looks extremely elegant. He laughed out loud. "Great, great, my brother." At this moment, the whole world is at his feet. Ha ha ha. The man laughed loudly, and the potion bottle he held in his hand was very conspicuous. I didn't expect this to work so well. Looking at the potion bottle in front of him, the man's eyes were full of enthusiasm. It is precisely because of the medicine bottle prepared in his hand that his younger brother has become this way. The younger brother's dream has always been to become the most powerful being in the world, and his dream just happens to be above the world. The medicine in front of him was invented by his great wisdom. Unexpectedly, the younger brother continued to grow bigger after drinking it. Today, this huge body can destroy countless buildings with one foot. Simply invincible. Yes, brother. The giant also laughed. However, the voice of a young boy came out. Simply unimaginable. No one could have imagined that 2 minutes ago, this giant was just an ordinary human being. Boom. Stopping, the giant looked down at the ground beneath his feet. Along the way, the huge footprints destroyed countless buildings, but at this time, there were no waves in his heart. Because the current strength can definitely be called the strongest. But the giant doesn't care, doesn't mean the ground doesn't care either. Drop, drop, drop. The alarm in front of countless people in the Hero Association rang loudly.
This moment came too suddenly, and even before everyone could react, the Supreme Commander waved his hand.
All on alert. In this second, everyone was completely awakened. Da da da. One by one, they ran to their posts. Skillfully turning on the computer, a huge map of the entire world immediately appeared on the screen in front of him. And the part where the alarm was issued was flashing red at this time. The female member wearing glasses was slightly taken aback. "It's a dragon class," another prospector exclaimed. With this sound, everyone's spirits were lifted. Dragon class. Dragon class again. It has only been a day since the last time the dragon level disaster happened, and at this moment, the dragon level disaster broke out again. Is the Earth going to be destroyed? Everyone cheers me up, but it's just a dragon level disaster, our heroes are enough to deal with it. The Supreme Commander shouted. And this is like the needle of Ding Hai Shen deeply into everyone's heart. Drop, drop. The alarm continued, and every sound seemed to be heavy, hitting the heart of every manager. It happened in City D, the female employee said immediately. The male employee on the right asked, "Isn't there any A-rank hero nearby? Send an order immediately. It must be as soon as possible, otherwise the entire D city will be in danger." Everyone knows this. At this time. Wait, another special energy appears. Someone noticed something unusual on the screen in front of them. The scarlet light burst out in an instant, as if covering the audience. Is this a tornado? The Supreme Commander frowned slightly. Only one person can do such an explosion in an instant. But this person happened to be a tornado. Tornado. The most powerful S-class hero known so far, except for demolition. The mysterious S-class hero is Blast, which has never appeared, so Tornado is undoubtedly the most powerful killer at present. However, once the tornado is shot, it is simply out of control. No, not a tornado, someone trembled. Hearing this sentence, everyone's heartbeat slowed for half a beat. At this moment, everyone's eyes suddenly changed. If it wasn't a tornado, who was that? Another weirdo who broke out suddenly. But once there is another weirdo, it will be even more difficult for us to deal with. Everyone instantly became worried. There are really no S-class heroes nearby, and it takes a few cities to find them. But now it's too late. Contact B-level heroes to contain them first, and immediately search for A-level heroes in other cities. The commander's face was gloomy. At this time, it can only be broken. Ordinary people don't know what happened in the Hero Association. Not far from the disaster, the war reporter wore a safety helmet and resolutely picked up the microphone again. A new disaster has appeared. Please see our live report in detail. The Hero Association has issued an order. The disaster level this time, Dragon level. Please evacuate quickly and protect your own safety as a premise. As a live report, this situation was immediately passed into the network information. In an instant, the whole nation burst into flames. And the people in the whole D city can't take into account the reply at all. In an instant, the peaceful city became panic, and the whole people fell into panic. However, the person who reacted immediately appeared in a safe place. There was a traffic jam on the street for a while. Drip. Countless cars honked their horns, but the traffic jams were completely paralyzed. Countless figures appeared on the surrounding streets, crowded and shoved, and madly fled outwards. The test of human nature at this moment is only on the basis of survival. At this time, Muai also came to the target city. At this time, the iron cable and steel bridge, which is a traffic fortress, has been paralyzed. The iron cable and steel bridge is full of cars, and countless people even gave up their cars and ran out. Cries, screams, horns honk, linked together. And Muai got out of the car too. With a wave of both hands, the car immediately turned into a small toy, which was easily put into a pocket. Right now, a huge shadow fell from the sky, covering everyone. The shadow covered the sky and completely blocked the sun. Muai looked up. Good guy. He was slightly startled. I saw that at this moment, a huge figure came towards this side, and the whole figure was probably on a par with Ultraman. Step down. Boom, the ground shook instantly. Muai didn't have time to think about it, and he was about to use chaos magic with a wave of his hand. Sudden. Clap clap behind the iron cable and steel bridge, the load-bearing chains suddenly burst open. The main load-bearing chain of the steel cable bridge is the main support point. And at this moment, it suddenly exploded. Under the powerful perception of chaos magic, Muai's complexion changed slightly. The steel cable bridge was full of vehicles, and even countless people passed by. It has already carried the maximum weight, and the sudden shaking brought by the giant just now became the last straw that crushed the camel. The bridge suddenly shook. What? Many people screamed at the same time, rumbling. The end of the iron rope, no matter how hard it was to bear the weight, shook violently. Click, the hard and fragile steel broke with a bang. Puff puff, numerous broken fragments smashed on the cars, and these cars fell off the bridge and fell into the rolling river. The water flowed so fast that it disappeared in the blink of an eye. What? Another scream. Everyone who had fled for their lives just now stepped back in panic. At the break, many people sat on the ground with their hands and feet and climbed backwards. No one dared to stand or even shake the bridge. Thump, thump. The heartbeat of countless people increased. But the bridge has already carried its maximum weight. Everyone didn't even dare to breathe, but at this moment, snapped. The last load-bearing chain burst open. Not good. Muai's complexion changed drastically. The screw that collapsed immediately hit a person. Blood spurted desperately. The people around were terrified and panicked, their faces turning pale. But at this time, no one can take care of so much, and all of them are running for their lives in a hurry. Snapped, 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 more and more chains are bursting. Rumbling, in an instant, the bridge fell uncontrollably to the right. Instantly grows from 10 degrees to 20 degrees, the lean angle sends those tightly braked vehicles down the slope. Help, help. The woman locked in the car slapped the front windshield frantically. But weak forces can't cause damage at all, can only watch helplessly. The vehicle slides into the rushing river. Some large stones fell into the river and disappeared in the blink of an eye. The woman could imagine what would happen if she fell into the river. At this moment, she forgot to call for help, and tears welled up in her eyes. Crazy slap on the windshield, but her strength is so weak. This is not the only case. At this time, the steel cable bridge was full of vehicles, and most of the vehicles had humans who wanted to escape. At this moment, everyone's heart is full of despair. Help. Woo. Is there a hero to save me? I'm still young, I don't want to die yet. At this moment, countless people made the last exclamation in their lives. Seeing everyone dying in the river. Under the powerful perception of chaos magic, these life energies also burst into unprecedented brightness. Even just now, Muai didn't care too much, he waved his hand, and a scarlet color appeared on his face. While covering his face, he immediately jumped up slightly. The scarlet color spread all over the body, and Muai seemed to have overcome gravity, and the whole person floated in the air. He suddenly waved his right hand and stretched out his 5 fingers. Chaos magic erupted suddenly. Click, the broken wire rope was suddenly straightened. Everyone has subconsciously covered their eyes and even their heads, waiting for the last moment of life. But at this moment, crunch, in the sour steel sound, the end of the steel cable was covered with a layer of scarlet light. And it's like the power of God. At the most critical moment, it grabbed everything that fell. Suddenly, someone tried to look up. Look, it's a hero. He exclaimed immediately. This voice immediately woke up everyone present. Follow his gaze. In the sky, the hero's coat moved with the wind, although the hero's face could not be seen clearly. But, at this time he is saving everyone. The hero, whose body was covered in scarlet, was flying in midair and waving his hands, pulling the rope like a powerful magic. It's not just pulling the tightrope, it's even pulling everyone's heartstrings. Including the lifelines of everyone present. In order to escape, the number of people on this bridge is countless. At this time, they all fell into a life-threatening moment. Appearance of Muai. At this moment, he is like a god descended from the earth. At this critical moment, everyone was saved. When they heard the word hero, all those who fell into despair immediately raised their heads one by one. All eyes were on Muai, who was floating in the air. Hero. Here comes the hero. Really a hero. Heroes are here to save us. Great, I don't want to die yet, thanks to the hero. Countless people were grateful and excited from the bottom of their hearts.
Most of these people wept with joy. And some people shouted.
Why did the shit hero appear at this moment? Do you have to wait until our lives are in danger to save us? Hurry up and pull lousy up. My time is very precious. These very unpleasant voices also entered Muai's ears. At this moment, the ugliness of human nature is clearly revealed. Muai has no interest in these. Move your finger. The existence of those people's ugly attitudes is hard to speak out. Muai's eyes glanced elsewhere. The powerful energy of chaos magic can instantly suspend the entire bridge in the air. But the consequences of doing so are not small casualties. Looking at the steel cable bridge below, Muai is very clear. If you want to rescue, you need to stabilize the entire bridge at the first time. And now, it's time for the second step. Muai, who was floating in the air, clenched his right hand. Rumbling. A more terrifying force spread. Click. Click, all the grimlocks were completely broken at this moment. The bright scarlet color shrouded all the fixed points, forming a hold-up, shrouding the entire bridge into a vacuum. Overcome gravity at this moment. The entire bridge, which had just collapsed in half, suddenly floated up. Wow, someone was so frightened that he lost his balance and collapsed to the ground. Many people widened their eyes and couldn't believe the scene in front of them. If they rubbed their eyes, they would find that the scene in front of them was extremely real. Someone finally remembered. This hero. It seems like a hero who suddenly appeared yesterday. It is rumored that it has the strength to compare to the S-class hero Tornado. It really lives up to its reputation, this sight really is so. Many of them were shocked. Looking at the whole bridge under him, he gradually left the rough sea. Everyone is stunned. How terrifying might this be to do this? And this scarlet-colored dream-like energy is either superpower or magic. Don't think about it, it must be magic. Yeah. The new hero actually uses magic. I don't know what the true identity of the hero is. The new hero will definitely join the Hero Association, let's look forward to it. But at this moment I admire this hero from the bottom of my heart. Countless people are talking about each other, and they are completely at ease at this moment. Contrasted with the undecided moment of shock just now, at this moment, Muai became everyone's spiritual support. Chaos magic's powerful perception can sense everyone's emotions. And Muai also listened to the real voice of everyone at this moment, including every dialogue. Laugh. Muai couldn't help sneering. However, what should be done cannot be stopped. Next to the steel cable bridge is a large open space, which was originally a park. After detecting that there was no one, under Muai's choice, an open space suddenly seemed to collapse under gravity. Rumbling. Under the terrifying chaotic magic, the tall trees were pressed back to the ground, and the surrounding buildings were completely crushed into pieces. Muai moved his right hand. The entire bridge controlled by chaos magic also completely came to the top of this clearing. As the right hand slowly fell, the entire bridge body gradually fell. The scarlet color recedes. Puff at this moment, countless dust was raised on the ground. And everyone is at ease. Someone tremblingly walked down the iron cable and steel bridge that was facing scrap. Many people above got out of the car. One by one, looking pale, the rest of their lives. And 10 meters away is the turbulent river, and the location of the bridge is empty at this time. The foundations on both sides of the bridge were torn apart by a terrifying force, and the entire bridge was moved in the air. What kind of mighty force moved the whole bridge? Everyone looked at each other and couldn't get any answer at all. All they could do was look at Muai floating in the air. It's safe. Yeah. It's safe. Countless people rejoiced in their hearts, and countless people said it in their mouths. We are safe. Finally, a man made a hysterical cry. This moment completely marks everyone's life being saved by the hero in front of you. A moment of life and death. Countless people are fortunate to have saved their lives. Muai, who was floating in the sky, looked at the human beings who survived the disaster on the ground, and the corners of his mouth also raised a slight arc. It's not that he likes being a hero, or even playing a hero-like role. But these lives are right in front of his eyes. If he doesn't see them, he probably won't be touched. But these are all living beings. Just in the eyes, passing away in Muai, turning a blind eye, it really is a bit of a waste of the chaos magic that has been mastered. However, it's a pity. Everyone is safe, but Muai sighed in his heart. Some actions are just more skilled use of chaos magic. It is impossible to test the strength of chaos magic by holding up a bridge out of thin air in front of him. At this moment, Muai was a little confused. He inherited the chaos magic of his heyday, and at that time, the plot had come to the Battle of the Scarlet Witch when Thanos destroyed the Earth. How powerful is this magic? Look at the hands. Muai smiled wryly. Is it really time to find a tornado to fight? This can't be done. The power of the wife is simply unexpected. Not even Sykes, who merged with Orochi, is its opponent. You must know that the Sykes who fused with the serpent waved his hand, but directly moved the entire crust, as if he had done a heel to the earth. Calm seawater rushes directly. The power of terror can be imagined. Even so, a tornado can be against it or not at all. Is this the trouble after invincibility? Probably Saitama is the same, rubbing chin. On the idea of who to challenge, Muai stopped immediately. Instead of challenging the tornado and being abused, it is better to challenge Sykes and try to be abused. Unlike Sunny Egg, he has no special hobbies. Of course, this guy detected a new battle. Go to sign in. Suddenly, a system prompt appears. Oh, why did you forget about this? Muai slapped his thigh. How could he forget the culprit that caused all this just now? You know, this time is completely a battle of giants. However, the system has prompted. That means that Saitama has reached the battlefield at this time. For Saitama, resolving the fight is a one-punch thing. Muai no longer delays, his heart is moved. The whole person suddenly turned into a scarlet light, flying towards the place where life is very rich. And on the ground, the human beings who survived the catastrophe are full of gratitude. Just as I was about to say some words of gratitude, I suddenly saw the hero flying in a certain direction. There was a sense of loss in everyone's heart. There's a catastrophic disaster in City D. The disaster level is Dragon level. The weirdo is heading for City B. Please evacuate the residents of City B immediately. City B at the moment. Just like in City D just now, everyone fell into a panic. It can be seen that countless people are running frantically from the surrounding buildings, and there are obvious traffic jams on the streets. The crowd was crowded and pushed. What? Run away. Countless people struggled to run to the distance. Disaster is coming. A huge figure in the distance almost enveloped the entire city. In the distance, the naked giant suddenly stopped. At the same time, the gigantic giant looked at the palm of his hand, the blood that was photographed into powder. The next second, a shocking roar erupted. Elder brother. How so? I just want power. He just became the strongest man. At this moment, he was stunned. His brother was slapped by him, and slapped it into pieces. His brother is dead. And just a moment ago, his brother shouted loudly. The two of them are simply the combination of the strongest wisdom and fighting power. But unexpectedly, humans suddenly appeared. The order given by his brother is also to kill the human on the shoulder. However, he was not careful. Oh, you were a little careless. Saitama said regretfully. Even if the voice is like this, his face is still calm, as if a life disappeared in front of his eyes, without causing any waves in his heart. So after becoming the strongest, how do you feel? Sudden. The giant opened his eyes, tears streaming down the corners of his eyes. Wow. He grabbed Saitama. Although I don't know who you are, but you killed my brother. Huge palm, smashing Saitama to the ground. At this time, Saitama, like a missile, fell from the sky and was instantly smashed from the top of the building. The hard body and the ultimate speed are only in the blink of an eye. Boom. In a loud crack. In an instant, a building was blasted to pieces in an instant. Saitama's body also sank deep into the ground, leaving a still calm face, looking at the huge giant in front of him. His face was calm, as if there were still no waves. Muai just arrived. Demolition team. Seeing this scene in front of him, he couldn't help but be slightly taken aback. It takes a lot of manpower to demolish a building. At this time, it was just shattered in the blink of an eye. Slam countless concrete and reinforced iron bones smashed to the ground like rain, smashing up countless smoke and dust. At the very center of this flashpoint, Saitama was unscathed. Good guy. Muai clicked his tongue secretly. This is the first time that it is so intuitive to see Saitama fighting. The shock it brings is simply too powerful, no matter how the giant burst speed and damage. For the bald-headed Demon King, there is no way to break the defense. Looking at Saitama, the bald head like a marinated egg was stuck on the ground, and there was no wave in his eyes at all. In the rush of chaos magic, the bald-headed devil in front of him is like a mass of life energy that has been compressed countless times. If ordinary human beings are a flame, then the superhuman hero is a flame. Compared to the S-class hero tornado, this is simply an outbreak of the sun. And the Saitama in front of me. Muai deeply felt this as if the entire universe was condensed. Sudden. What? With a loud shout, the naked giant jumped up slightly. Boom. With a thunder like gravity, it fell to the ground. Fell for a moment. Rumbling, the ground shook violently, and all the surrounding buildings collapsed. The strongest. This is the strength of our brothers. A roar came out of his mouth. Gaba. The lifter clenched his fists, and instantly bombarded the ground. Boom boom. I saw that the fist attacked the landing point of Saitama just now at an extremely fast speed. Wow. In an instant, there was nowhere for smoke and dust, and the gravel that raised the ground also rushed into the sky with the power of the giant. What? With the last roar, the giant suddenly jumped high, and then punched down. Boom. A violent explosion resounded in his ears. Countless smoke and dust rose up, and even covered the surrounding high-rise buildings. Wait for the smoke to fall. The ground that the giants attacked violently had already sunk into a deep pit. Muai was silent. This identity is simply bottomless, terrifying a little too far. This is much more efficient than some drilling crews. And the target the giant has been attacking is Saitama. So Muai is not in a hurry to shoot, because if it is Saitama, then there is no creature in the universe that can defeat him. However, as for Muai, out of the corner of his eye, he also saw the running humans in the city. Without hesitation, he waved. Chaos magic immediately formed a protective shield invisibly. At least it can save many people from disaster. Finish the final attack. Ha ha ha, the giant gasped. I am the most powerful. But looking down, there was a smear of red blood in his palm. The sadness in my heart can never go away. His older brother, turned into this mass of blood, will never come back. Even with the strength and confidence he had just built up, seeing his brother's scattered clothes and fine blood, his voice became much lower. So what? Words like a confession. Tears from the corners of my eyes spewed out uncontrollably. So empty. He issued the answer of the soul. At this time. Yes. A calm voice suddenly sounded from the deep pit. Whoosh whoosh, the wind whistled around. Saitama, who was wearing this yellow hero costume, suddenly flew to the giant in the sky with the power of a high leap. What? The giant was startled. How could this guy be okay? Suddenly, a small fist with red gloves appeared in the field of vision. Next second. A punch hit him in the face. Boom. In sonic boom. The air around Saitama's fist trembled. This punch. Break through everything in an instant. The giant's voice got stuck in his throat, making it difficult to make it out. The huge face was dented back by a punch, and the cheeks were immediately twisted. Puff. Scarlet blood spurted out of the distorted mouth, and white shards were scattered in the sky. Looking closely, it turned out to be a huge broken tooth. Seeing this scene, Muai's heart beat faster. Under the powerful perception of chaos magic, all the details of Saitama's punch came to mind. This is the charm of One Punch, and everyone who likes One Punch Man, isn't it for this feeling of adrenaline rush? At this time, detected the Saitama battle scene, check in. The system prompt appears suddenly, sign in. Muai nodded immediately. Location, Saitama battle scene. Signing in. Sign in is complete. Congratulations to the host. Sign in reward. The power of the god of destruction, a trace. Is it fusion? A system prompt follows. Muai was just about to speak. Sudden. Clack, the entire body of the giant in front of him slammed backwards under the force majeure impact of the great demon king Saitama. And there, it is the whole City B that is shrouded. At this time, on the streets of City B, countless people are still evacuating. The crowd gathered countless. If the giant falls at this time, I am afraid that everyone will lose their lives. And there are magnificent buildings around, I am afraid that it will collapse in an instant. Not good. Muai's eyelids twitched. It's worth it. Although Saitama solved the battle with one punch, he did not expect such a situation. Immediately wave your hands. It even releases all the chaotic magic it perceives and retracts it instantly. No, the giant is about to collapse, run. Ah. I don't want to die yet. My god, what the hell happened? Countless people in City B have been following the battle from the very beginning. This terrifying giant stopped a few meters away, but suddenly attacked the ground. At this time, it seemed to collapse due to unknown reasons. At this moment, after the giant of Arrow Stone, after the terrifying power, everyone seemed to see despair. Muai shot immediately. Suddenly, a scarlet color, with Muai as the main body, burst out immediately. Slamla saw a thick crimson color, like a boundless sea, instantly encompassing the outline of the entire giant. And just above everyone's head, a huge shadow shrouded everyone's heart. At this moment, they seem to have foreseen death. In the face of death they can only cover their heads or not start, or even just close their eyes. The giant fell, the huge body, let the wind howl. And the next second, the huge giant slowly stopped under the shroud of countless scarlet colors. What? Saitama quickly covered his mouth, almost. Seeing the figure of the giant about to fall, and the countless buildings. He just reacted. What would be the consequences of its punch? But luckily, the terrifying chaotic magic, the sudden burst of induction, also alerted Saitama. Looking back, in the high sky in the distance, there are scarlet people clearly floating in the air. The strong scarlet color cast on the hands. Obviously, the immediate disaster is this person's salvation. No matter what, Saitama still couldn't see the scarlet color and what the people behind him looked like. Muai also noticed Saitama's gaze. But at this moment, he has no time to spare, and he greets the past back and forth. To maintain the giant's huge body, even with chaos magic, Muai felt a little bit struggling. You must know that this is the power that can destroy an entire city in an instant. And the chaotic magic dragged between Muai's hands is enough to show that he can crush an entire city in an instant. But wanting to hold up is not the same as letting go. The power of the city is no small feat. Ah, hello. Saitama's greetings suddenly came from the ground. Looking at the giant in front of him, this huge body can't be put down at all. Muai's heart moved. Saitama. By the way, the place where Saitama and Genos fought was empty and in a valley. At this point, just used it, on location. Why are you ignoring me? Saitama touched his bald head in embarrassment. Are all heroes so indifferent? As soon as this idea appeared in my mind, another voice had already come. Go find a blank place where you can put this huge body, even a garden doesn't matter. Saitama's eyes suddenly widened. Wow, your voice can reach my ears directly. Quick. Muai urged immediately. Appears in a hurry. Alright, Saitama's eyes became serious. However, after hesitating for a while, he looked around to a relatively blank place. Obviously not here. That. Boom. The ground beneath his feet suddenly shattered, and Saitama's adaptation disappeared. Muai narrowed his eyes slightly. In the powerful perception, the Saitama on the ground has appeared hundreds of kilometers away in the blink of an eye. As soon as the figure stopped, it was obvious that he was constantly searching for a blank space. Suddenly, Saitama's figure ran back. He immediately shouted to Muai. I found it. Muai did not delay and waved his hand. A thick scarlet color immediately enveloped the giant in front of him, and flew towards the place where Saitama had stayed just now. This scene was seen by countless people on the ground. The giant flew away. We're safe. Mama, I'm not dead. Countless people showed the joy of the rest of their lives. Saitama is also unambiguous, and has appeared in the searched place in the next second. Dragging such a huge body, Muai's flying speed was also affected. Fortunately, Saitama's punch completely shattered the giant's head. In other words, it is impossible for the giant to wake up at this time. Less than a minute. Rumbling, finally, Muai waved his hand. The scarlet color receded from the giant, and the huge body fell to the ground, raising countless dust. Take a deep look at this, the body of a giant. Muai waved his right hand, and countless green leaves were wrapped in a layer of cloth, covering the giant somewhere, and he slowly fell.